ability to talk. Fantastic. Obviously, she's very attractive, very cute, but her views, her eliteness, her like, I know what's right and you don't, and now you want to apologize, bro. This is how the world works when you get on social media.
Broadway actress who issued a post saying, F Biden supporters. May Biden or Kamala never have a moment's peace. That person would be fired so fast it would make your head spin. They wouldn't last one more minute in any Hollywood role. This is truly like, she has to go. I'm sorry, Disney. She has to go. And you're going to put out a Disney film with Snow White, a beloved American character, with a woman who hates more than half the country, the half that just elected Donald Trump. This is an incredible pivot point right now. We'll see which way the woke Disney decides to go.
Pay your f***ing writers, pay your f***ing actors. I have residual checks that would shock you.
Hey everyone, this is Eileen. Rachel Zegler has just pulled a jaw-dropping 180, walking back her fiery rant against Trump voters and vowing to steer clear of political drama for good. But here's the kicker. Rumors are swirling that it might be too little, too late. Word has it that Disney execs are done playing nice with their Snow White star, quietly backing away after months of non-stop controversy. How did one actress manage to throw a $200 million production into chaos? Is this her desperate move to salvage her image, or are we witnessing the final chapter of her Hollywood fairy tale? The drama is escalating, and it looks like her career might just be hanging by a thread. Stay tuned. This story's only getting hotter.
Your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Disney, the ultimate storyteller, has found itself caught in a plot twist it never saw coming. At the center of this chaos is Rachel Zegler, the once rising star handpicked to breathe new life into Snow White. So, what went wrong? Why are fans so outraged? And can Disney fix this mess before it's too late? Let's break it all down. When Rachel Zegler was cast as Snow White, it was hailed as a groundbreaking moment, a Latina actress stepping into one of Disney's most iconic roles. Some celebrated it as long overdue progress, while others accused Disney of chasing trends instead of honoring the beloved original. Fans of the 1937 classic struggled to reconcile this bold new direction with the nostalgic fairy tale they grew up cherishing. But things really hit the fan when Zegler dismissed the original film as outdated and called Snow White's love story weird. She promised a modern take, no prince, no romance, just independence and leadership. While some praised her fresh perspective, others accused Disney of ripping out the heart of the story in favor of chasing headlines. For these fans, Snow White wasn't just a love story. It was a magical, hopeful tale that helped cement Disney's legacy. And then, the controversy snowballed. Rumors swirled about the Seven Dwarfs being completely reimagined, adding more fuel to an already raging fire. Fans who embraced live-action hits like Cinderella started to feel like this wasn't about updating a classic. It was about rewriting it entirely. Suddenly, Snow White wasn't just a remake. It had become a battleground for everything people love or hate about Disney's new direction. Rachel Zegler's meteoric rise soon took a sharp nosedive when she dove headfirst into political discourse. After Donald Trump's re-election, she unleashed a fiery Instagram rant targeting not just the former president, but his supporters too. Her blunt declaration, "May Trump and his supporters never know peace," went viral almost instantly, igniting a firestorm of backlash. Across the political spectrum, the fallout was swift and chaotic. Conservatives called her comments a direct attack on millions of Americans, many of whom overlap with Disney's core audience. Hashtags like "Ndee boycott Snow White" trended, with people demanding her removal from the role. Even moderates who didn't support Trump found her tone unsettling, pointing to it as yet another example of the divisive rhetoric people are exhausted by. Meanwhile, progressives were split. Some cheered her boldness, while others questioned whether her fiery statement had done more harm than good.
Snow White actress Rachel Zegler only a few days ago decided to tell every single person that had a different political opinion than her
May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace.
Every time we check in on Disney's upcoming Snow White remake, somehow things get even worse than they were before.
This woman thinks that, the half of America, more than half of America, shouldn't live in peace.
Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig.
There are growing calls tonight for Disney to fire Rachel Zegler, the star of its widely anticipated Snow White remake. It's because of an anti-Donald Trump post she made after the election, writing, quoting here, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." Zegler is now apologizing. She writes in a new post, let my emotions get the best of me, and I am sorry, contributed to the negative discourse.
But apparently telling Rachel Zegler to behave normally just isn't an option either. So the other day, in response to the presidential election, Zegler had a very public meltdown on her Instagram stories. She wrote, quote, "F you, Donald Trump." And she proceeded to insult the 75 million Americans who voted for him, quote, "I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leading us towards a world I do not want to live in."
Instead of stepping back, Rachel Zegler doubled down. She followed up with another post, accusing Trump supporters of enabling harm and even blaming Elon Musk's ex, formerly Twitter, for helping Trump get reelected. For Disney, this created a massive PR nightmare. As a company, Disney has long walked the fine line of political neutrality, carefully crafting its image to appeal to families across all spectrums. But Zegler's comments dragged them straight into a firestorm they didn't ask for and had no idea how to handle. Their response? Deafening silence. Unlike past controversies, like Gina Carano's swift firing over far less inflammatory social media posts, Disney took no action against Zegler. The double standard was impossible to ignore. Carano was cut loose within days, but Zegler faced zero consequences, leaving critics accusing Disney of blatant hypocrisy and bias. This wasn't the first time Zegler's outspokenness landed her in hot water. She'd previously criticized the marketing of West Side Story, solidifying her reputation as someone who stirs the pot. While some found her unfiltered personality refreshing, others saw it as exhausting. Either way, her tendency to court controversy made her the center of attention for all the wrong reasons. By the time Zegler issued an apology, the damage had already been done. Her carefully worded statement claimed her emotions had gotten the best of her and called for peace and understanding. But instead of diffusing the backlash, it only added fuel to the fire. Critics slammed the apology as robotic, insincere, and completely detached from the situation. It reeked of damage control rather than genuine reflection. To many, it felt like the classic, "I'm sorry if you were offended" non-apology, which only made the outrage worse. Social media exploded with backlash. Comments like, "This feels like a lecture, not an apology," and "She's not sorry, she's just sorry we noticed," flooded Twitter. Memes mocking the apology spread like wildfire, comparing it to past celebrity slip-ups that had been handled with much more humility. To make matters worse, many fans felt Disney's fingerprints were all over the statement. The apology came across as a PR-crafted response designed to smooth things over, but instead, it only deepened the divide between Disney and its audience. For a company already struggling to bounce back from a string of underperforming remakes, Zegler's remarks only amplified the growing disconnect. And now, what was supposed to be the launch of a magical Snow White revival has turned into yet another cautionary tale about losing touch with your audience. The controversy didn't end with Rachel Zegler's apology. Instead, it spiraled further out of control. Fans accused both Zegler and Disney of focusing on optics over accountability. For many, it was yet another example of Disney's growing list of PR missteps in recent years. The public is no longer buying polished, prepackaged apologies. They want authenticity and vulnerability. Zegler's carefully crafted statement felt like the exact opposite, turning an already bad situation into an even bigger mess. Rather than quelling the backlash, the apology became another point of contention. It widened the divide between Zegler and the audience she needed to win back. But the fallout didn't stop with her public image. It dragged the entire Snow White project down with it. Even before Zegler's remarks ignited the internet, the live-action remake was on shaky ground. Fans were already divided over its creative choices, but after the backlash, it became a lightning rod for boycotts, criticism, and skepticism. The trouble started with the teaser trailer, which racked up over 1.3 million dislikes on YouTube, a tidal wave of negativity. Fans flooded the comments, attacking everything from the visual effects to the film's perceived disconnection from the 1937 original. Instead of sparking excitement, the trailer fueled frustration. To many, it was yet another sign of Disney, losing touch with its audience. One of the most contentious changes was the reimagining of the Seven Dwarfs as a diverse group of magical companions. Disney made the change following actor Peter Dinklage's criticism of the original story's portrayal of dwarfism. But the move backfired spectacularly. Advocates for the dwarfism community accused Disney of erasing opportunities for actors. With dwarfism, while fans of the original felt the charm and whimsy of the Seven Dwarfs had been stripped away, replaced by what they saw as an unnecessary reinvention. Behind the scenes, things weren't much better. Reports of costly reshoots, delays, and creative disagreements painted a picture of a production in chaos. Insiders claimed Disney was scrambling to salvage the project, pouring millions into reworking scenes in a desperate attempt to avoid a colossal flop. With a massive $200 million budget, Snow White would need to earn at least $600 million just to break even, a daunting challenge, especially amid growing calls for boycotts. The backlash against Snow White also reflects a larger trend. Fans are losing patience with Disney's live-action remakes. While films like Cinderella and The Jungle Book struck a balance between honoring the originals and offering fresh takes, others like The Lion King and Mulan have been criticized for feeling hollow and overly calculated. Disney now finds itself at a crossroads. The Snow White controversy isn't just a PR disaster for Zegler. It's a cautionary tale for Disney's approach to reimagining beloved classics. Will the company learn from its missteps, or is this the beginning of a deeper rift with the audiences it once captivated?
Basically, anyone who voted for him posting on her Instagram that there'll be another 4 years of hatred leaning us towards a world I don't want to live in, claiming that it's leading us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. And she went even further, warning followers to avoid using Elon Musk's X platform because he supported Donald Trump. Look, she did later apologize for her comments, but it's certainly not the smartest marketing move ahead of this film.
No, I mean, it's a great strategy putting out your leading actress to go ahead and piss off half of the American population and potentially causing a huge backlash from it.
Apparently someone at Disney made a call. Somebody at Disney probably made a call to Rachel Zegler and said, hey, you need to shut your fucking mouth because you are destroying this movie and our reputation when we can't afford this.
She tried to make Snow White really woke, and there was a huge backlash from that. Well, unsurprising.
Career off of just criticizing things. She's always aggrieved about something. They agree with you on this issue. Find something else to criticize, please.
Because of Zegler and because of her hideous poison and the poison of wokeism that sort of like bled through the project. Look at this.
That is a red flag, just mentally, from a mindset point of view. I would love to live in this world, even if Kamala Harris.
They will fire Gina Carano just for being conservative and sharing conservative values, but then you have Rachel
Zegler also wrote, there is a deep, deep sickness in this country that is shown in the sheer amount of people who showed up for this man who threatens our democracy.
Endorsements that anyone actually cares what they have to say about this stuff, because they shouldn't. Like, we don't need to hear from actors and artists about who your political candidate should be. You know, it's you're not qualified to have opinions on this stuff, and you shouldn't be trying to like direct people to vote a certain way. You know, for these people, they're there to entertain us. They're not there to lead us.
I think she's an idiot. She's one of the most unlikable people in Hollywood, and that speaks volumes because there's a lot of unlikable people in Hollywood. But she took it to a whole different level. And you are working for Disney. You're working for a company that is trying to cater to, well, should be anyway, trying to cater to families. Now you have this landslide election from President Trump, and there was no way this was going to go over well. They're talking about all the other major Disney studio productions that are coming out. This is what's coming in. They're telling this to analysts and shareholders. And for the second time in the row, they have not mentioned the live-action remake of the movie that put the Disney company on the frickin' map in 1937. This is just
I don't think this movie's going to happen in.
By March, Snow White seems to be falling into the same trap that many of Disney's recent reimaginings have. Perceived more as a corporate response to cultural trends than a genuine effort to tell a great story. As the release date approaches, Disney faces an uphill battle to turn around the negativity surrounding the film. The controversy has shifted from being about one movie to symbolizing how Disney's recent choices are alienating lifelong fans by chasing modern updates without understanding why these stories resonated in the first place. The company risks losing the connection that once made its movies magical. Whether Disney can salvage Snow White remains to be seen, but for many fans, it's a clear sign that the brand has some serious soul-searching to do. This isn't just a one-off. It's part of a larger problem Disney has been grappling with for years. Disney built its empire on timeless stories that brought people together. Classics like Cinderella and The Lion King worked because they tapped into universal themes of love, hope, and perseverance, without shoving a message down your throat. But lately, fans feel like Disney's lost its touch. The magic is being swapped out for stories that feel more focused on making a point than connecting with audiences. The live-action Snow White is a prime example.